So we are going to talk about writing the surreal today. And this particular workshop grew out of an article that I discovered. It was uh, a bunch of global idioms. So it was, how do you say that somebody's died in, 5 different countries? And I got really excited about it because the way that idioms sound when you don't grow up with them is so different from the way that they sound when you do know the global idioms. So we're going to start with one of my favorite stories. It's called Against the Grain by Linz McLeod. And I'm not going to read the entire story, it's quite long, but I am going to read a little bit just to give you a flavor of what kind of magical things surreal writing can do. I'm going to pop this in the chat so that you can read along if you'd like. And so there you are. That's in the chat, and you can bring it up on your own computer. So the mammoth crouches behind her desk, which is not as neat as she'd like it to be, and shuffles through papers until she finds a brochure. Pushing it across the table with her trunk, she taps the cover lightly. Muted gray with a tasteful cream font. You'll find all our models in here, ma'am. The woman pulls out a crumpled tissue and dabs at her eyes. Models? Caskets, the mammoth corrects. Is there much of a difference? The son asks. The mammoth flips open the brochure. Most people go for this one. She jabs at a polished mahogany member. Or this. She gestures at a smooth oak paneled casket. So, as I say, I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's quite long, but what I love so much about this piece is it takes the idea of a mammoth, an extinct animal, working at a funeral home, which could be a children's book. It could be a comic piece for grown-ups, but it isn't. It is a heartbreaking, beautiful commentary on othering. And what a gorgeous way to bring that idea to the reader. I'm a person who is afraid of nonfiction pieces because I'm really scared at the state of the world, and I'm so sad and so angry already. But I will read this in a heartbeat, and it will change me as a human being in a way that even a nonfiction piece about this particular issue could never accomplish. So, what I'd like you to do is to think about surreal writing as something is strange, but it's ordinary. We're not upset. Everybody is walking around and their heads are light bulbs. That's fine. That's the way this world is. Everybody's totally okay with it. Mammoths work at funeral homes. Everybody is totally okay with it. We're never going to waste any time being like, why do people have light bulbs for heads? Ever. We're just going to accept it and say, yes, this is our world. How can we move forward and play with this world in which mammoths work at funeral homes or everybody has a light bulb for a head? So in order to dive into this concept, I want to talk about some traditions around the world. Now, caveat, I got these from the internet. As always, take it with a grain of salt. If you happen to be in one of these places and you're like, that's not real, I'm super sorry. I did try my best to find ones that had backups on other sites. So in New Zealand, teachers go barefoot. And I hear that and I think if somebody had tried that at my California school, they would have like asked them if they were okay. In Venezuela, the birthday kid is expected to scream while the cake is being cut. And again, if you can imagine, you're 8 years old, you're at a birthday party, and someone's cutting the cake and a child's screaming, the cake is not being cut anymore, and everybody's like, are you okay? Uh, La Tomatia is an annual festival held in Spain where participants engage in a massive tomato fight, hurling ripe tomatoes at each other in a friendly free-for-all. The Baby Jumping Festival is a Spanish tradition where men dressed as devils leap over rows of babies lying on mattresses, believed to cleanse them of sin and ensure good health. If, nobody falls down, I guess. The coffin races happen in Colorado, where teams race homemade coffins down a snowy track in a competition. And this one is by far my favorite. Uh, Declining birth rates in Russia have given birth, so to speak, to a public holiday created solely to give couples to conceive children. Parents whose babies are born exactly 9 months later can win prizes. So, here are some things that happen around the world. And what I'd like you to do is take one of these things and play with that idea. In this world that you're about to create, this is completely ordinary. Teachers are barefoot. Come up with an awesome reason why. Everybody knows it happens. It's ordinary. It's always been that way. But how come?